There's something that a lot of first-time entrepreneurs don't realize, and that's it's a lot like sixth grade math. If you want to be successful, you really got to show your work. Welcome back to Listen to Leo. In today's video, I wanted to explore the connection between entrepreneurship and sixth grade math. As I'm sure many of you can relate, when I hit kind of the middle school phases and we started getting into things like algebra and kind of the ensuing grades, one of the big focuses in math class was showing your work. Now, I've always been mathematically inclined. I love math. A lot of it I can do in my head. And so it was always really dumb to me that I had to show my work. I don't need to show my work. I can do it all in my head. But here's the problem. With just an answer, it's impossible for the teacher to understand how you got there. Now, for smaller problems, this may or may not matter that much. There may only be a few ways you can do it. But as problems get more and more complex, you can identify errors in your thinking. And, it's tough to do. But if you actually show all of the work that went into it, you can then trace through it. You can check individual steps and you can, hopefully come up with more correct answers that way. And not only that, the teacher can grade you knowing what you did and can actually give partial credit. Now, why am I talking about this in relation to business? Well, I think building in public is a lot like showing your work on your math test, right? You don't necessarily need to do it. But if you do, your potential users and your audience can give you partial credit. They can see that you're putting in the effort and they see the small improvements that may not lead to the final result being 100% correct, but they'll see that you're putting in the effort to make it more successful. And so if the users seeing you post about doing something and they're like, yeah, that wasn't really great. That's not for me. It doesn't speak to me. But then you try that message again, and that same user is like, oh, well, that's a little better. I actually kind of remember the last time they were talking about that, and it didn't really fit me then. It actually feels like it might fit me a little bit more. I might have to look into this a little further. And then, the third time they see that message, it's been revised a little bit more. And now they're like, oh, wait, yeah, I remember them talking about that. And now I really see where they're going with that. I'm able to understand the answer that they're trying to get. Um, and, hopefully, unlike your teacher, your potential customer will actually get you to the answer you need to get to, right? And then pay you to answer that question for them. And so this is why user interviews are so important. You want to really be able to get to that final answer. And, you can show your final answer, or you could just show the work that you're putting in and you don't actually have to take a guess at the final answer because most people are not going to be paying attention to you. But the people who do happen to pay attention to you and see you making progress on your work over time, they're going to be able to be a lot more lenient in the way they evaluate you because you've been built up in their head as a trusted source. You're someone who is obviously putting in the work. And that way, they can just be a bit more lenient. And so if you're building a business for a first time, I do highly recommend the approach of building in public because all you're doing is you're showing your work. And when you show your work, it's a lot easier to build trust with an audience, with a potential customer. And that makes it a lot easier to get where you're actually looking to go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.